sisters, soul sisters. Yes, it's Sister Spokesman. It's May the 4th, 2024, and this is the year that we're entering into our 90th year of publishing the Minnesota Spokesman Reporter, the oldest African-American newspaper in the state of Minnesota, and one of the oldest in the country. So today we're celebrating with having a tea party here at Sister Spokesman. We're wearing our gloves, our hats, what we call the tops, and we're also going to be learning a lot about the history of the black press. The black press starting back from the Freedom Journal all the way to today's black press, the Minnesota Spokesman Reporter, and how the importance of the press plays the importance in our lives today and the impact that it has, and quite frankly, it helps you to make wise decisions as you are better informed. So we're going to talk about all of that today while we're enjoying having some tea, we're at camaraderie, and just having a great day here at Sister Spokesman. So I'm going to try that one more time. So I'm going to say, hey sisters. Soul sisters. Okay, that's a little bit better. How's everybody this afternoon? Okay, so we're getting started. It's raining out, so people are kind of trickling in, but that's okay. All you ladies that are already here look fabulous. Let's give yourselves a round of applause. All right. I love the hats, the tops, the dresses, the beautiful ladies. So love to have you. So my name is Tracy. Who's new here for the first time today?
This is the first time in years.
First time in years, but you're not the first.
Yeah.
Do we have any newcomers that have never been here before? We got 1, we got 2, we got 3, 4, okay, 5, so we got 2, okay, 6 back there. Okay, so I want to first ask, can I ask, just like shout it out to me, how did you find out about Sister Spokesman? The newspaper, okay. A friend?
Cynthia.
Okay, was there any other friend, paper? Was there any other way you found out about it?
Radio. Facebook.
Radio, Facebook. How else? Anywhere else?
Word of mouth.
Word of mouth, that was a good one. Okay, we're trying to find out what's working. Because we want to do more of what's working and continue to do the others. But whatever's working, I want to make sure we're doing more of it so that we really reach the ladies. Because a lot of women are saying they don't even know we're doing this event. And they're like, how can I be a part of it? How can I volunteer? How can I come? You know, because they realize it's a fun event and it's something they want to participate in. So if y'all can help me get the word out to your network of sisters, so when we start back in September, so remember I'm taking June, July, August off. Summer months, everybody's doing stuff with their family and everything. August, we're having a boat ride and we're having a gala. And the two are in regards to the black press, the Minnesota Spokesman Reporter, which I own and am the publisher of. Woo. We've been publishing for 90 years in August. So I don't know how many people, I mean, by a show of hands, who reads newspapers? Well, that's a good show of hands. So how many of you that read newspapers or that don't really understand the impact and the power a newspaper has? How many understand that? Okay. So fewer hands than those that read it. Hence as to why I'm going to be talking today about the importance of the black press. So I'm going to take you through my journey of being with my family's paper from my age of 8 until today, having the opportunity to stand here in front of you ladies. But before we get to all that, we got a whole lot more going on, but I just wanted to give you an idea of what this afternoon's going to look like.
Okay.
Okay, so tell us who you are here, girlfriend.
Yes, okay. Hey, soul sisters. Hey, sisters. Excuse my language. Hey, sisters. How you all doing? It's a beautiful day, regardless of the rain. We've been blessed to come together one more time. Give you all yourselves a hand for being here. Yes. God is so good. God is so good. And I'm so grateful to be a vendor here. I've been vending here for over a year, every month, and I just love the networking. I love the fact that Miss Tracy is doing what she's doing, and I love the fact that she's a pioneer in the community, and she's still standing strong. She has a strong foundation. She has people that love her and back her, and I'm so thankful for we are celebrating the 90th anniversary of the Minnesota Spokesman Reporter. That's the best. Yes. So I want to talk about my business, and my business is called Pink Pearl Biscione Steam Spa. I was just featured, and you all get your newspaper, but I was just featured in the newspaper, my business. So I would love for you all to pick it up and to read it. But I just give a holistic approach when it comes to wellness of women. I do sipping paints. As a matter of fact, for the month of May, I have a sale on my paint kits right now, and they're $20 each. You know, Mother's Day is coming up, you know, people graduating. So you all check me out. I have different type of cleansing sticks. I have oils. I have gift certificates. I have necklaces. I have different kinds of teas. So, you know, come over and stop by. I'm a friendly person. I would love to enjoy your energy and your presence. Thank you.
All right, and she is a lovely person, so make sure to give her some love this afternoon. And who do we have here over here, Miss Beautiful?
Hello, my name is Raisa Asadi. I'm here on behalf of Acer Inc. We are a nonprofit organization housed in Brooklyn Park, working to connect small business owners and entrepreneurs with professional business consultants to help grow and scale your business. Some of those consultants range in expertise from things like accounting and bookkeeping, Schedule C business taxes, marketing and brand management, brand strategy, and also brand development and business development. So for some of you business owners who may have an idea and need some help bringing that to fruition, creating business plans, getting connected with someone to help create cash flow projections and things like that, we are your one-stop shop.
All right. Thank you. All right, Missy, over here. What you got going on? She's selling right now.
Right. Trying to make a little money. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. This is Unique Fashion and Accessories. We have a special going on today, $35 and under. Everything over here, just come and check it out and spend a little money with us. We got jewelry, purses, sunglasses, all kinds of accessories. Hats. So if you're not wearing a hat and you need one, got a lot of good sales over here. Everything under 35. And I just want to piggyback on the young lady over there about what she was saying about Tracy doing what she's doing in the community. We do appreciate you, Tracy.
Yes.
I've been with you since the beginning, and you have been just wonderful. I've made a few dollars. I've grown. Went from one business to two business by being out in the community and working with Tracy. So I just want to thank everybody for coming out today and spending money with us, continually supporting our Black community, because we need that support. So come over and spend a few dollars with us today, and I give you good deals. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That's what we're here for. We're here to support the businesses, either through Sister Spokesman or through the newspaper. Okay, here we go.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome again to Sister Spokesman. Hey, sisters. So my name is Camilla Elmini, and I'm with Essie's Wonder Butters. Essie's Wonder Butters is an all-natural pain reliever. We have two flagship products. We have one that's based with shea butter, and we have a second one based with grapeseed oil. They're all natural, long-lasting, fast-acting, long-lasting, and we have samples. So if you want to come and try our products, you can definitely come and get a sample of it. And we're local here, Northside, born and raised. Now I remember Miss Tracy's family when I was a young girl. Our mosque was across the street from the Spokesman corridor, right on 38th and 4th. And for many, many years, we used to go over there, and help over there with passing out papers and things like that. So go way back, and it was very, very, very important for us to support Black press, very much so, because it's going to be, with all this new technology, there'll be a dying breed if we don't support them. So support Black press. Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. And now we got Miss Chocolate. But now's a good time for me to get over here first before I pass up Miss Chocolate to Miss Kylie so she can tell you what she's got over here.
All right, I'm over here at the NSR merchandise table.
We are coming up on 90 years of running this amazing business, right? Of just spreading awareness and everything. So what better than to wrap it on yourself, right? So we have a whole bunch of merchandise talking about 90 years in the business. And you know, that's a good conversation starter. And since it's raining outside, I got a whole bunch of umbrellas too, so you don't get wet, all right? Coffee mugs for your coffee, everything. We got it over here. It's great quality and best for you guys. So thank you for coming out. And here you go.
All right, so come and give her some love, give all the vendors some love. And then what we got over here with Bobby, let's get back to you now. Let them know what you got. If they haven't been over here, what you got.
If you haven't been over already, we have a selection of tea. We've got coffee. We've got coffee. We've got
You get 3.
tea sandwiches.
Whatever, if you want 3.
We've got everything that you need to go with it. So come on over and see us. It's a rainy day, so it's a good day for some nice hot tea.
If you want 3 of those.
Thanks.
Okay, so I haven't missed it, right? We got them all right. So now, Mrs. Chocolate is going to take it from here.
When I say Choco, y'all say latte, Choco. Latte. Choco. Latte. When I say Choco, y'all say latte, Choco. Latte. Choco. Latte. When I say Choco, y'all say latte, Choco. Latte. Choco. Latte. And I know y'all thinking like, well, why does Chocolate have on those little bitty shorts? And they're white. And it's because it's after Easter. I don't know about some of the non-melanated sisters in here, but you know, us other sisters, we gotta think about that wearing white before Easter. So I knew it was after Easter, so I was like, you know what, I can wear white. And some of y'all probably ain't seen no extra dark chocolate like this before either. And it shows up better with white. Yeah, so I decided to give y'all a double whammy. Yeah. And plus, you know, I am like extra dark right now because this is my tan. I'm not normally this dark. You know, in the wintertime, our skin does lighten up a little bit. And so I had to go on vacation and get it back the other color from last year. So that's what this is. Yeah, probably by the fall it'll go back a little bit lighter. Yeah. Y'all also looking at new hips. Let me do a catwalk.
All right.
Yes. Both of them. Brand new hips, y'all. Well, they're toddlers. They're 4. Well, this one's 4. This one's 3. Yep. I got these during the pandemic too. Yeah. Everybody else before the pandemic started, I was already at home. I was at home from December of 2019 because I couldn't even walk because my hips were that bad. And so then I had surgery and then the pandemic happened and I had to wait to get the second surgery. So my struggle was for real. Yeah. And I kind of was like, well, you know, I'm sad about the pandemic, but now everybody gets to be at home just like me. Now I got people I can talk to. Everybody's at work. I have to wait until after 5 to make phone calls and stuff like that. So then when everybody was at home, I was like, okay, I'm good now. I'm good now. Had to have, you know, some family help. You know, you need the support from your family. So my niece comes over with her daughter. She was 3 to try to help me, you know, with taking a shower and you know, getting myself together. And I had to wear some Depends. And my great niece, she's just don't understand what has happened to you. Your hair is not combed. You have on a hospital gown. You have a walker. And what? She said, Auntie, I want to help you. I said, okay, you can help me when I get out. I gotta put my undergarments on. I'm gonna let you help me do that. She says, okay. She's all in. So I get the Depend and I say, put that down there by my. But she says. I said, oh, Miss Thing giving me the hand. She said, I already know what to do with these. I said, you do? She said, yeah, you want to know
I said, why? She said, because these are pull-ups. And I already know how pull-ups work. Because my sister Ashanti, she wears these. She's 2.
Sister, when I say that, I want to hear you say, soul sister. Now the reason, let me explain why you're saying this. Because when somebody's on the mic, it is to get a chat from you, but it's also to get everybody's attention. So when people are talking, they can't hear. Can I get everybody's attention, please? Hamdi, I'm asking you to walk around and ask everybody to be quiet. So when I'm on the mic, or anybody, we're asking you, when you hear, hey sister, and then you say, soul sister, that's getting your attention. And also getting everybody ready for the next phase, right? So I want to introduce myself for all of you that are new since I was last introducing myself to the audience. My name is Tracy Williams Dillard, and I am the CEO and the publisher of the Minnesota Spokesman Recorder, one of the oldest black newspapers in the country, and the oldest black newspaper in the state of Minnesota. So today we're going to talk about the history of the press. So the history of the oldest press, it's called the Freedom Journal, and it was founded in March 16th of 1827. And it unfortunately didn't last long. It was just a 4-page newspaper, and it was first owned and operated and established in or not radical enough, or doesn't give you hard news. If it's there to support you in any way, you want to consider the option of them being gone. So we can either be here and not always hit the mark on which you're looking for, or we can disappear and never be here to hit any mark. So think about the black press when you're thinking about what it does for you. So I'm going to give you a little history about the Minnesota Spokesman Recorder. It started off in 1934. My grandfather, Cecil Newman, began the paper in 1934. He lived in Kansas City, Missouri. He moved to Minnesota because he knew that the option for him to really make a foothold in the black community in Kansas City in 1934, the option was not great. He knew that there was going to be a lot of obstacles in his way and a lot of opposition in terms of really being able to make an impact. So he moved to Minnesota to start his newspaper when he was 17. And even prior to that, and I just want to take you back to kind of where I connect with this whole thing, when he was 8, he was operating his school newspaper, and it was an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. That was his school newspaper. So you can imagine when he was 8 and he started this paper in 1934, that year his age was. So he then, as a 17-year-old and a Pullman porter, moved to Minnesota to start his own newspaper called the Minneapolis Spokesman. A couple of years later, after when he first moved up here, he started trying to get a foothold. He went to a restaurant and he ordered a hamburger. Now again, he left Kansas City, hoping that he had more opportunity here in the north versus where Kansas City seemed a little bit more, of the south. And when he came here, his first experience, we went to a restaurant, he ordered a hamburger, and it was loaded with salt. So his message was, you're not welcome. So he knew then he had a lot of work to do. So he started the Minneapolis Spokesman. Then he discovered that he didn't have enough money for one newspaper, so he started 2. So I couldn't understand the logic at the time, so he started the St. Paul Recorder, but later I understood it because he knew that 2 newspapers doubled his advertising revenue. So he was able to double his income on his advertising, which we pretty much, as a newspaper and media source, we rely primarily on our advertisers to really support us. So our subscriptions that we used to sell, and we still do if you get it delivered in your home, really pays for the postage. But you as a subscriber do more than, your support for the black press is not through just the fact that you're spending $40 a year to get a newspaper in your mail, because that pretty much gets ate up by the United States Postal Service. But what it does is it shows the advertisers that you have the numbers. And they want to know that you're reaching people so that their message gets read. So you want to make sure when you're supporting the newspaper that you subscribe as well, because you make sure that you follow and like it now because of all the different methods that they're counting people. But make sure to just be active in your newspapers, especially the MSR, when you are supporting one, so that that activity that you're giving the support of that newspaper shows up in some form, so that the newspaper is able to show the advertisers that they are reaching the people, that now the advertisers are okay with spending money with that publication. So my grandfather, and I'm going to play some trivia games in between just to kind of see what my audience today is aware of. And I've already told you what year we started, but what month and year did the MSR start? Oh, did I see a hand? Okay.
It was August, I would do my math with the year when you said it. August 1934.
You got it, August 1934. And there was something that happened in 2015 that was significant to the history. And I'm going to give you as much of a clue without telling you. So when something's historical, what happens sometimes? Well, you do get an award, that is correct, but that's not the answer I'm looking for, but that is correct. Ceremony is good, recognition is good, not the answer I'm looking for. You probably will never guess it.
Placed in the Historical Society.
Well, there you go. So you get placed in the Historical Society, but what it's called is our building is designated as a local historical landmark. All right, so that happened in what did I say? That was in 2015. So near my building, that's located where? Does anybody know where the Spokesman is located? There we go. Technically 37th and 4th, but on the corner. She was housed right across the street. Although she said 38, she should have said 37. Yeah. So, correct. So on that corner, does anybody know what they named that street? Cecil Newman is not the right answer. And Cecil B. Newman is not the right answer. It would have been Cecil E. Newman had that been the answer, but that's not the right answer either.
Spokesman.
They didn't name it after the newspaper.
Richard Green?
They didn't name it. It is associated with the paper, which Richard Green is not. They're in this. They're in the video that's on, and it wasn't me. It wasn't me. No. Leuna Newman, my grandmother. So we do have a street. 38th Street is now. It's still 4th Avenue is still 4th Avenue from 42nd down to 30th. It's still 4th Avenue, but it's also considered the Leuna Q. Newman Lane. Wow. Yeah, so they named that street after my grandmother. Wow. Thank you, thank you. And now there's a street that's historically been there for quite a while, and they're looking at tearing it down. So who's familiar with South Minneapolis? Oh, this is a few of y'all familiar with South Minneapolis. Wow, we're over north, aren't we? That's the problem. We're north. And there lies the problem. See, we need some Southsiders up in here. Well, anyhow, so I ain't gonna rack y'all's brain on this one too much since y'all Northsiders. Okay, I'll give you a shot at it. Let's get a shot at it. So over south, there's another street, and it's named after who?
Richard Green.
No, we are not talking about Central right now. We're talking about the Minnesota Spokesman Recorder.
You said over South.
And it's over South. I want you to stay focused with me. Now stay with me. Minnesota Spokesman Recorder. Keep thinking about Minnesota Spokesman Recorder all afternoon, okay? 'Cause that's all you're gonna hear all afternoon. But I'm gonna mention Richard Green at some point just because you're gonna say something about the spokesman, and then I'm gonna get you. Okay.
Samuel E. Cornish.
I get you. I know where that came from, but that's not it. That came from our building. That's a good answer, but that ain't it. Prince is definitely tied to the paper because we did a lot of stories on him, but no, that ain't it. Well, y'all guessed it earlier, so I'm gonna give it to you. Cecil E. Newman. So there is a street named after my grandfather, but it's right behind, it's just a half of a street. And it's right behind where the Kmart once was, it just tore down. So we're not really sure what the history of that street's gonna become now that they tore down Kmart, because if they do go through the street, Nicollet is the street I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And if they go through the street where Kmart once said it's an empty lot right now, they more than likely will end up getting rid of that street. So I'm going to have to do some protesting on figuring out where they're going to put my grandfather's name in a bigger way in the city. They're supposed to open up. They're going to open up Nicollet, right? And that little street, Cecil Newman Lane, will then be gone.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to work on that. But currently we do have my grandfather and my grandmother have street names here in Minnesota. So I'm very proud to be able to stand on them giant shoulders. So, thank you. So my grandfather, I said earlier, started the paper when he was 8 years old as his high school paper, his grade school paper. Then when he became 17, he moved to Minnesota. He was a Pullman porter, so he kind of was still traveling, but he started his newspapers here in Minnesota. He became really good friends with Hubert H. Humphrey, and Humphrey at the time was our mayor. Well, before that he became the mayor, and he really got the votes of the black community because of my grandfather Cecil Newman. So Cecil Newman was very, very powerful, and the power came from his paper. Because one of the things that you have as power, and it's different now because you got a keyboard, but it's the power of the pen. So it's hard for people to have democracy in silence. And it's easy to have it in silence. It's hard to have it when it's not in silence. So we're here telling the stories of things that need to be told. My grandfather was here keeping things in the eyes of the community so that people knew the things that were going on. So there was no way that you could make things a secret and pass bills and move things on and no one would ever knew that it was taking place because nobody would keep them informed. So that was the purpose and why my grandfather wanted to start the Black Press, was to keep the black community informed on issues that otherwise if you're not at the Capitol, you're not at the White House, you're not in front of the politicians that are making the daily decisions that affect your lives, you got to have somebody that's an advocate for you so that you know what's going on, so that when decisions are made, you have an opportunity at some point, hopefully sooner than later, you'll find out about making being a voice that's going to help make a change in something that could affect your life. But not only that, I often ask people, how do you find out about, back in the day when my grandfather was alive and running the paper, my grandmother, they did a lot of social activities, they did a lot of social life. There was a lot of clubs, and people were members of clubs. The white press was not trying to tell you stories about your social clubs you were in. They weren't trying to show the positive images that the black people were doing. They were making sure if you knew anything about the black community, it was always negative. So the Black Press was here then, talking about some of our social stories. He was running all these births of children. He shied away from negative news as far as, violence and that kind of thing, because again, the mainstream took care of that real good. My grandfather's goal was to really uplift and build the black community. Same goal I have today. My goal today is, I'm echoing my grandfather's footsteps, because one of the things I noticed is that you got racism, you got all different things going on. the more things change, the more they stay the same. So I know that I still have to continue to right the wrong for the black community with the paper. But, so he had, in his time, he had ran into an incident where there was two, Debbie, or three women, two that had been arrested. And it was at the...
At that cafe that some...
Yeah, I forgot the name of that cafe. Who remembers that cafe on 38th and...
Is it Knack and Rainbow?
No.
Sunrise?
Yeah, Sunrise.
Something like that.
Yeah,
No, I think it was a different name, but there was
It's like a little country.
yeah, it was a little cafe.
Yeah. My grandpa used to go there.
Yeah, and it was known, pretty well known in the black community, but they got arrested, these women, and they got taken to jail, they were taken to jail wrongfully. So the first thing, my grandfather essentially, because again, the power of the press, and because he was the voice for the black community through the press, they called him. So I just heard this story the other day, how they looked at my grandfather as the judge, the jury, the lawyer, everything. So when there was something really big going on in the black community, they didn't call a lawyer, they called my grandfather. So they called him, they said, we've been arrested, we were at the Dream Cafe, that's what it was called. We were at the Dream Cafe, they came in, they arrested us, took us downtown, we didn't do anything wrong. This was in the middle of the night. My grandfather got up, he called the governor of Minnesota, Hubert Humphrey. He said, Humphrey, I need your help. There's some people downtown, they're arrested wrongfully, they should not be in there, I need to get them out. Same time, my grandfather's on one end, the police chief's on the other. I got these niggas down here that I'm not letting go. So Humphrey had to make a decision. Was he gonna stand with the cops who were basically his employees? Or was he gonna side with a black man and lose favor amongst his white constituents? He went down to the jail and he got the women out with my grandfather. So that's how much respect my grandfather had in this community. That's how much respect this community newspaper had in this community. Because he was always trying to do the right thing with all the news coverage. And he was always here for the community. So fast forward, my grandmother's here, like in this picture here, after my grandfather passed. He passed in 1976. My grandmother took the paper over. This time, my mother's working there, and my uncle's working there. I think that's my mother on the, right there, yeah, she's got the little light on her. And then my grandmother's the woman across, yep. And so, with the paper in her hand. And so my mother and my uncle kind of were side by side. More my mom in earlier years because my uncle still had another job. But then he ended up joining my grandmother and my mother, and the three of them with me being there all along. So I started at the same age my grandfather did. I started at the age of 8. And my grandmother brought me in. She wanted to teach me the ropes. So I ran this thing called the addressograph machine. And it looks like a big old typewriter, but it's one that the labels that actually went on the newspapers were printed from. So I wish that we had gotten a picture of that. With hindsight, that would have been a smart move. We got to make sure that we do that for the 90s.
Oh, for sure.
So when I talk about it, we have a picture to show, but that'll be a part of the whole presentation. But anyhow.
We're just getting started.
Just getting started. So it does sit in front of our lobby today, so anybody want to stop through the office and see it, it's there for you to see. That picture right now, there's my mom and my grandmother and my whole entire family, my dad, who both I no longer have mother or father. They're both, my mother, I just lost her this past year. My father has been gone for a little bit. But anyhow, so my grandmother was running the paper. Initially, when she took the paper over after my grandfather passed, the question was, can a woman run the newspaper? Because then it wasn't common that we had a lot of female publishers. It was mostly a male-dominated industry. My grandmother was like, I'm going to keep this paper going. My husband started it. She knew it had a lot of good in it. So her and my mom and my uncle kept it going. And she kept watching me. So there's a lot of years as we were coming through the times, my grandmother's starting to know that one day she's going to need to retire. And she was wondering who was in the position to take the paper over. So she's kind of watching and keeping an eye on me, and I'm like in and out. So I'm going to college, and I left for a while, moved to Iowa, and I came back, and I was involved with the paper. I always had a love for the community, but I went to school to become a chemical dependency counselor. I wanted to help people. But when I realized the newspaper was a vehicle that could help even bigger than me being a chemical dependency counselor, because that meant I was going to help a few. But with the paper, I can help a lot more. And now with digital, with us now being considered a multimedia source, we're reaching people much broader and much wider than I could ever even think of reaching people as an independent chemical counselor. And I can still help people that are chemically dependent, because I can make sure that we're writing stories and articles that are really being impactful. So the beauty in what I'm able to do now as a publisher is really kind of steer what I think is helpful for our community to know what's going on, that's going to be helpful in what's going on in the world today. So if I know that opioids is a big problem in our community, quite naturally I want to make sure that our articles reflect what's going on in that, so that we're able to really engage people, because there's so much misnomer out there that you'll be getting information coming to you from so many different ways. But the one way that's been very successful with the black press, particularly ours, but in general, the black press is really known for being the beacon of the community and really giving good news, and giving news that you can't get anywhere else. So, and being reliable news, because that's the other thing. They talk about fake news a lot. Well, when you think about some of the other news sources, they're giving news because they're just trying to give you quick news, and they want to be fast, and they want to be first, and they not necessarily always be accurate, but they're always going to be first to give you the news they can give you. For us, as a weekly black-owned newspaper, our focus is not on being the first, but being the most accurate. So, thank you. So when we report something, we want you to know that the news that we're giving you is, we've done our due diligence, we've had conversations, we've really kind of like, there was a more recent story that was out that we just covered. It was a reverend, and they were, Channel 4 wanted to be first. So they ran out and they put all this news out that about the reverend had gotten a bunch of money and he wasn't paying his staff. And there was one staff member, I guess, that went to Channel 4 upset, ran to the news and told the news that this dude got all this money, he wasn't paying none of his people, and to put dirt on this guy right away, they just went on and put the news out there and discredited the man. Had his wife have a heart attack. His life, as he knew it, changed immediately. That's how fast the media can change your life. And in this case, we came behind it, and we actually did due diligence. We talked to the pastor who didn't get a chance to talk for himself on Channel 4. After it aired, the dude who ran to them to give this wrong information retracted his statement. It's already out there. So what we did as the black press, we're not here to be the judge of the jury. We're here to give the facts. So we told the story factually, and it helped his credibility, at least in the community in which he lives. He's able to walk through the community with his head up. Overall, some people probably will still believe Channel 4, and that may never change their opinion of him again. So, but again, that's why when people don't let their own news resource stories, if you don't go to your own source first, you may not get there in time to get the truth story out. So always use the black press, use us. We're here to be used. Now, we can't be used because you just got fired from your job. And you may probably need to get fired. If you work for me, I'd have fired you too. but you might have been dead to the right also. and you might not have, should have been fired. But we are not, again, the judge and the jury. So here's where we come in handy when people have stories that need to be told. We need to know there's more than one of you that has the same complaint. Now, if you have a group of people that have experienced the same thing, I want you to give me a call. If you've hired an attorney who's now done his due diligence and he's really a lawyer that's speaking for you and now can speak to us, I want you to give me a call. So we're here to be able to tell stories that are going to help open things up for you, like my grandfather did. When my grandmother did, she ran it the same way. She opened up the paper and gave people opportunity to tell their stories. There was a judge, and right now I can't disclose her name, but they tried to kick her off the bench because she wouldn't provide them with some confidential information. And she said, it's confidential, I cannot give it to you. And they were trying to bully her, threatening her and everything to get this because it was pretty damaging information that she had her hands on. My grandmother fearlessly stepped in and started writing. And she's like, you're not going down quietly. We're going to let the world know what's going on. So they ended up publishing a lot of stuff as a result of that. And the reason she told me this story recently is she said a lot of the people are still alive. So that's why we're not mentioning her name. Because it was that dangerous at that time. But because my grandmother was willing to speak in her behalf and really write it out and get it out there in the media, they were not able to get rid of her. She retired as a judge. So it's just the power of the newspaper and the media that can really make or change your life depending on how you utilize it. One of the things more recently now, okay, so now I'm running the paper. So my grandmother died. She died in, I want to say, these years go so fast it's hard to keep up, but I believe it was in 1990, I think it was. Anyhow, she's been dead for maybe about 15, 20 years now. And prior to her dying, she turned the paper over to me. So I'm running the paper, and this was just before COVID hit. And I'm trying to now open up new doors and new avenues to new people. So one of the opportunities, I got a call during Black History Month, and it was from Lionel Lake's prison. And my mother was still with me at the time, and they were like, can you come up and speak to the inmates? So they had a whole line of people that were coming up there to speak to inmates. And I'm like, I don't know exactly what I'm going to say to a bunch of inmates, because I really didn't do a lot of public speaking at that time. But I thought, well, they're going to be probably the best audience I could speak to, because I think I can just talk to them normal. I don't have to be talking to an executive. I don't have to research who these people are. I can just go up there and talk to them like I'm talking to my brothers or whatever. So I went up there and I talked to the brothers, and I got all these letters when I came back about the impact of the paper being up there and me opening up the doors and letting the brothers that are incarcerated know that the paper was for them as well. So I allowed them to have an opportunity to use my opinion page to voice their opinions on concerns they have from the inside out. So they started writing articles about things that were going on in their lives that no one was listening to. So they were given a voice for the first time. So fast forward, probably 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, one of the inmates had gotten out, and he was speaking at the NAACP banquet. And one of the stories he tells often is that the Minnesota Spokesman recorder saved his life. And I'm trying to understand, okay, well, I'm listening, okay, where we're going with this, how the paper saved his life, because I like knowing the stories I hear about the paper. Giving him an opportunity to have a voice while incarcerated, giving him a way to continue to communicate to the outside. Because the life he was living was kind of so isolated that he said once he started writing, his soul got free. And he started being able to talk to the community outside the walls, and it freed his mind. And so when he came out, that's every time when people talk to him, because he's a real smart young brother. Kevin Reese is his name. I don't know if any of you are familiar with him. He's involved in a lot of talks and stuff he does now. And he's got an organization, I can't remember the name of it, but he's very active in the community now. But he told his story over and over again about how the MSR saved his life. And so when I look at the black press and the meaning that it has for so many different people at so many different levels, I just want to let the community know that if you didn't know about the black press and the importance, I wanted to, because sometimes when you're moving through life and you'll pick up a newspaper, you'll pick up a paper, you may not connect it to you. And when you start to begin to connect it to you, that you are, and I would say like the FUBU thing, for us, by us, to you, it's kind of like the same scenario. The news is from us, it's by us, but it's about you and it's to you. And so how we're able to write the stories and really kind of impact the community as far as being able to tell the true stories of things that are going on, but also to make sure that we're giving you information that you otherwise, inaccurate information, that you otherwise might not have been able to find or get through other sources. We're providing that to you on a weekly basis. Now, with our website, we're providing it to you on a daily basis. Now, with social media, we can provide it to you on a minute basis. So, things have moved now than ever before. But we got into a slump. And this is a part of my story where I had a struggle. Things just after the pandemic, things just kind of really slowed. No, before the pandemic, things have slowed down. Kind of like the bottom hit, and the paper stability was at question. And I lost my husband to the pandemic at the time, but prior to him passing, he's like, "What you gonna do? How are you gonna survive? How are you gonna keep the paper going? Because we can't keep both this house and the paper going." And I said, "I don't know, but closing the paper is not an option for me. So I need to pray, and I need to have you have faith that somehow this is going to turn around for me." And he said, "Well, I'll keep doing whatever I have to do to keep it going as long as I can." So he took and got another job, and he started to just do what he could do to help me make the bare minimum, which is payroll. So there was some bills I just couldn't pay. I got behind. I lost a lot of sleep. I did a lot of praying. Here comes the COVID relief money, because now they got to let people know that COVID is real and people are dying in thousands, and they needed to get the message out. So they needed the black press to really help them get the message out. So I got a lot of resources through, unfortunately, the COVID coming to the world. Then around that same time, they had to count people on the census. Thank you, Debbie. And so there was a big influx, because black folks we don't want to be counted, because we don't know why you're counting us. We don't trust you. So, because they always try to count us for the wrong reasons, right? So they know when it's time to do the census, they got to convince us the best they can. And what do? They use the black press, who's the most reliable source in the black community, sure as they feel churches possibly, but the black press for sure, to get the message out. So they had to spend a lot of money with us to get the message out about the census. So with the census and COVID, I got a bailout. And from there, the paper started coming back up, and then the advertising came up, and things started rising up. And I lost my husband before he got a chance to really see where the paper is today.
Okay, Tracy. Okay. You need a hug?
So, the story of my struggle is because, you know, when you got your grandmother who you lost, who really believed in you, right? Then you have your husband who really believed in you and you lose him. And now fast forward to today, and I lose my mom a year after, just a year ago. All my heroes, you know, all the people that were so dear to me are gone. And I'm in a place now, thank you, where the paper is really soaring. And I have people now still in my life that are here to support me. But this room right here is my support. Let me give you guys a round of applause for being my support. And putting on this event is meaningful to me because it's also a group from the paper, thank you, that I, you know, was able to bring Sister Spokesman. It came from the name of the paper, so you got Spokesman out of that for Sister Spokesman, and you know, the advertising is picked up. I got a full staff. I got a staff of 18. Wow. I went from like I went from like 5 people to now 18. This picture you're looking at right here, there was an event that came through called Small Business Revolution. They had 6 years of running a series on Hulu, which went national. They came to the Minnesota Spokesman Quarters, the last season, which is on my website right now. You can view it, and it's a lot of the story I'm telling you today. And they came and they revitalized my building. They painted it. They gave me new furniture. They gave me new computers. And yeah, they did the mural on the outside of the building. That woman that's in this picture with me, she was the host of the show. Some of you might have been familiar with her on some of the other shows that she did for the Small Business Revolution. Took our paper, made it a nationally known, which is one of my visions, was to become a nationally recognized newspaper. So it's been a challenge, you know, really, but it's been a challenge that's in my heart that I never have let go of since my grandmother first walked me in the door when I was 8 years old, and I decided that wanting to be a part of the community and really give the news and information out. And I think that God recognized that with me because He knew I wasn't doing this for money. I was doing it because I knew it was the right thing to do, and so He sustained this paper. And it's really helped me to get it where it's going. My staff often says that I have a, what do you say, Debbie?
I don't know which one.
The lucky charm up my butt. Because things are just, I'm being blessed in so many different ways. And the most recent blessing I got, and I think I'm not supposed to tell it, am I?
Not yet.
Not yet?
Not yet.
Okay. Monday.
It'll be announced Monday.
Monday it'll be announced. So keep your eye on my website. You might know it in other ways, but it's a pretty awesome blessing. But we're coming up on our 90th year in August, so we've been doing an annual boat ride that we go down to St. Croix. This year it's really going to be focused around the 90th anniversary. And then that's on the 16th of August, and on the 17th of August, we're going to have a gala. And the gala, if you're able to make it, it's going to be a treat. We're going to have a theatrical gala unlike anyone you've ever seen, and it's going to be beautiful. Yeah. So I'm really excited. So again, it's going to tell the story and the triumphs and the tribulations of the paper and walking you through it. in bringing you to where we're at today and why it's important that we not only existed for the first 90, but that we make it the next 90, because we have to be here to tell the stories that are untold by anybody else. So this time I would like to open up the floor for questions. You guys, anyone have questions of me, of the paper? Can we get a mic to, I'm not going to make you fill the papers out. If they can just ask questions on the mic, that would work real good.
I'm loud, so.
Well, I want to make sure we get you on this record, we get you on here, so talk directly into the mic so we can pick you up here.
First of all, I want to send you love and light with the losses that you've had. I lost my mom in February 2020. It's a hole that'll never be filled, so I feel that for you, so I'm sending you all the love this universe can muster. What do you see when you look in the mirror as an accomplished, beautiful Black woman who has so positively impacted so many people's lives? You know, sometimes we don't speak to ourselves the way the world might. And so knowing how you feel about you can help all of us here to understand that that self-image that we hold is more important than we might think.
Thank you. When I look at the mirror, in the mirror, I first want to always remain humble. I think that humility is so important for me to make it through the times I'm going through. Because it's easy for people to put me on a pedestal and I don't feel I belong on. I feel like I'm here. I look at myself as doing a mission to help while I'm on this earth. So I look at myself and I say, just stay humble and continue to do your mission. And your mission is to be the best that you can be and try to help everybody else to be the best they can be. And that's what I see when I look at myself.
I'm from East Africa, I'm Oromo. Nobody knows, so maybe you Google it. 3,000 language speaking Africa. In Algeria, 500,000 speak. The fourth largest language in Africa is Arabic, Hausa, Kiswahili, Oromo. From Africa, the second language speakable is my language, Oromo. We used to have newspaper of the city. Only 2 times we printed, but I have a dream to bring back Oromo community's newspaper. Because of that, I give you a flag. Only have on the world the sun. Only this flag have the sun in the world. You can Google it. I love you, sister.
Thank you very much. I appreciate this. Thank you. I know we're trying to bridge the gap too with the African and the African American community, and we're starting to do a lot of different articles and stories. We got a Somali editor now, and he's bringing some of the Somali community, and we're opening up to other communities in the African diaspora as well, so that we could really start to bring us together as communities. So that's another one of my goals, is to really close the divide on all brown and black people and make us one as much as possible in terms of the information that we're providing and the reach that we have. Anybody have any more questions or comments?
So who are you grooming for the?
Okay, that's a good question. So my daughter is 35. I told her she was going to make it today. She's 35, and she's got 2 kids, my grandsons. So one's 13 and one's 9. And I want to bring my grandsons in this summer, my 13-year-old mainly, to teach him how to do some social media so he can start getting involved close to the age that I was. I'm prepared preparing my exit in 9 years now. It was 10. I'm running up on the first of the 10, so I'm going to be counting down. I'm at the 9 now. So in 10 years from now, as you kind of can say it, because from 90 to 100, good Lord willing, and I'm still on this earth, in August of 2034? What is this? Yeah. This theme is more around continuing the legacy. In August of 34, when I retire, it's going to be passing the torch. And I'm going to be passing the torch to my daughter.
Okay.
So I already have a strategy on who gets the paper next. It's going to be my daughter. And I'm grooming her now. Matter of fact, in June, this past summer, I went on some newspaper trips, some conferences, and I took her and my grandson. And we're going to DC and to Baltimore in June. And I'm going to take them again. I want my daughter to get an opportunity to go all these, because she's getting to meet all the black publishers at NMPA. But I'm taking my grandson so they can be involved in that too, so they can start to really get to see more of what their Gaga, they call me, does. And then also give them an opportunity to see the Black Museum and see more of blackness. So, but my daughter is going to be the next publisher of the Minnesota Spokesman Reporter.
All right. Good choice.
I just want to make a comment.
Wait a minute, we got a mic coming at you.
I get a little emotional. I want to make a comment to say thank you for the Minnesota Spokesman Recorder for telling our stories, because I moved here 34 years ago in 1990. I'm an award-winning author, producer, actress. I've done so many great things, and I've traveled the country. But the Spokesman Recorder was the one newspaper that really gave what I do a voice. I just want to say thank you, because I tried all the networks of the TVs, all the newspapers around here. They didn't look at me like I was nothing. I mean, you know, they didn't even want to listen to what I had to say, but Spokesman Recorder put me on the map.
Nice.
In Minnesota, and I thank you for telling our stories.
All right. And you know what? And that's what I want to see. When I look in the mirror, that's the other thing I want to see. I want to say, you're doing what you need to do. And that's stories like this that let me know that we're on the right track. Because that's what it's about. We're here to be the voice. We're here to help magnify the positive things that the black community is doing. We do this thing, and Lynn was just telling you in the back, the vendor in the back, we just featured her. So we do a thing called Small Business, Black Business Showcase. Chris is usually, the photographer here, is usually the one that reaches out and does the profiles for me. And we're trying to reach every black business, and there's a few criteria. You have to be in business for at least a year, have either a storefront or a website that's a good website. People can actually go on there and really do business with you. And if you got that, then you need to check out over here. They can take your information so we can get you scheduled on our calendar so we can get profiles done on you. We got a lot of exciting things. We're just starting our education section, so we're really trying to inform the community on the education things that are going on that our children need, our parents need to know, so they can help our children become better and smarter and more informed. So we got a lot of different things. We got the health section. We got the paper here. So if you're not familiar, grab your newspaper so that you can see the different pieces, the sections rather, that are in there. And again, this is news that's all for you, to you, about you, and we're here to support you in any way that we can. Just give us a call if you got hot story ideas. If you have a desire to, if you have an opinion, who likes to write that's here today? Oh, good. We got some writers in the room. So we got writing opportunities if you're interested in just writing news stories, but we also have what's called an opinion page, which most newspapers have. So if you just want to write about something that you have an opinion on, there's a hand up here, y'all. Right, Kylie, a hand up here. But if you have something that you wanna, if you have an opinion you wanna write about, go ahead, contact us so we can put you on our opinion page. There's so many ways that your voices can be heard that you wanna make sure that you're getting an opportunity to utilize the paper that's here for you.
Speaking of writing, I actually was going to ask you, are you going to offer writing workshops? Is that something you thought about doing?
Absolutely. We had thought about doing that. It's probably more something we're going to certainly look at doing in January, February of 2024-5. So keep your eye out for us, because we got to get through this anniversary, because that's a big undertaking. And then I want to really start to set up so we can do some workshops.
Okay, thank you. Sounds good.
All right. I look forward to seeing you there.
Yes.
Kylie, are you awake? Are you asleep? Am I losing you? You supposed to be looking at the crowd. You try to get back over and talk to your mom. You still over on this side of the room. What you got, girl?
I was wondering about, you said you had 18 staff, and I was wondering like what they do. Are they editors? Are they journalists that are like, a story happens and they're getting on the scene and interviewing people, things like that?
Good question. And so some are not all employees. There's a lot of them out of that number that are independent contractors, and they do write the stories. So it starts with me as the publisher. Then I have 3 editors. I have an online editor. I have a Simon editor, and then I have a entertainment and associate editor, right. And then I have a director of operations. Debbie, you want to stand up? Okay. And then I have an administrative assistant, executive assistant, Kim. These 2 are my right and left hand, because I do minimum of 50 things a day. I can't keep up with myself. So when I got Debbie on board, that was a relief, but I still was chasing myself, coming and going. Didn't want to look in the mirror because I didn't want to see me again. I said I got to get an executive assistant, because I got to get somebody that can speak my language to the people I'm speaking to, because I'm speaking to other CEOs and I'm speaking to other business people. And I need somebody that can send letters out that I don't have to remind you that that's not what you say when you're speaking to these people. And so bringing Kim on has been a great relief, but I have her. Then I have the editors I mentioned, and I have we have an administrative assistant that would greet you if you came into my building. And then we have, who am I missing? Sales. So we have 7 people in sales now. Salespeople, because all of them are not part-time, and only a couple of them are actually employees. The rest are independent salespeople, and they do part-time. And then I have Chris, who does my Black Business Spotlight. Chris, stand up. They already see you, but there's Chris here. But Chris is also, as you can see, my photographer. So he's my professional. He does fantastic pictures. And he also videos, and he does some writing. So that's Chris. Then I have Jennifer, who's my coordinator of Sister Spokesman. So she pours her heart and soul into that. And her daughter, my cousin, Kylie. That's my junior coordinator. And then I have my writer over here that does all my health writing, Tony. You want to stand up, Tony? And Tony is one of my newer, he's been with me off and on for years, but I brought him on full time because I needed to snag him so that I can keep focused, because I got some health clients coming on, and we're really wanting to connect with health stories that are written from our perspective. And although Tony appears to be white, he bleeds black, right? And then that's his wife sitting next to him, Bobby, and Bobby's a big supporter of MSR. Then I have Hamdi that stands at the door as my protector of all things. But he also is here to really help hold down the Sister Spokesman. He's always been a great supporter of mine. Then I have my family here. So Sheena, want to stand up, Sheena? So Sheena supports me here at Sister Spokesman, does her very dearest to take very good care of me. I have my dearest cousin, her mother, Vanita, sitting in the back. Neat, want to stand up? This is a family extension. Then I have my dear friend Michael. So Michael's been supporting me for 30 seconds. Now I wasn't ready for you to stand up yet. I want to tell the story. But he's been supporting me for 30 years, and we've just been a great pair. So Michael, thank you for all that you do. So I don't know that I'm missing anybody. Oh, Anthony. He's over there with the glasses incognito. So Anthony, stand up. So Anthony is another staff member of my team, rather, that really he's here to support me in any way he can. But his biggest support is here at Sister Spokesman. So Anthony's mother is Jennifer, and his sister is Kylie over here. So that's my family right there. And then I have my daughter, who I mentioned earlier, who's really trying to be a part of the paper, but she's got her own life and education, and she wants her own identity. So we're trying to figure out how to mesh her identity as an educator to the MSR. And we figured it out. It's easy. It's like the paper's going to help educate and inform and inspire as it does today, but really how we embrace these young people is through social media, which is her way of being able to still be an influence to the educational system. So we're starting to work on ways to really bring that to the fold, so when I pass the torch, it will make more sense for her to feel good about taking it without losing her identity. Because it's important that we keep our identity. If our parents have a desire, my grandmother just got lucky with me. I kind of just fell into this role of being a publisher, and it's been just me. But nobody else really has taken this role on in my family. I got 5 siblings. I just lost my brother I mentioned earlier. So there's 4 of us now, and nobody's interested in the paper. So I was telling my daughter, you can't let this legacy die, and I'm building it up for you to take it. When I got it, it was in bad shape, and it was up to me to either sink or swim. I decided I wanted to swim. So I got it to the point now where my daughter doesn't even have to swim. She can stand up in the water. So I'm trying to just be able to pass that torch and give her something to really be impactful with it. And she doesn't have to work so hard to keep the doors open. She just has to work really hard to continue to reach this hard to reach community. Any other questions? Well, I hope that there was all the information and knowledge that I was able to instill in you to help you understand that the Black Press is here for you. The Minnesota Spokesman Recorder cares about you. It wants you to be a part of it. It wants you to embrace it. But more importantly, I need your support in order to continue to do the work that I do. It doesn't exist without you. So remember, we need your support. So if you work for a corporation and you're an influencer, have them to advertise with us. If you're not getting the paper in your mailbox, subscribe. It's $40. If you want to write and contribute, write. If you want people to know that we exist, that you know don't, send them our newsletter if you're getting it. If you're not getting it, go on my website and get the newsletter and then share it. Help us become the best known newspaper in the state of Minnesota, because the more people that our voices reach, the more we can help our community. Thank you so much for listening. Here, that we got a sister that's you're gonna be, come on over here. So she's gonna tell you about something very exciting. We have a celebrity in this room here. So tell them who you are and what you do.
Hi everyone, my name is Ava Justin. I am 18 years old. I have been acting since I was little, out in California, New York, and all over the country. And this past year, I started my own film production company. And we have an upcoming premiere for my film, Joy of Horses. It'll be premiering at the Woodbury Theater on June 23rd at 6 p.m. The tickets are on the website, the Woodbury Theater. You can look that up and also take a picture of the flyer. The link to the tickets is on here as well. I hope to see you all there.
All right, thank you. All right, thank you so much. And congratulations again on your film. Is this your first one?
It's my first one under my company, yes.
Okay, the first one under your company.
Yeah.
And you're how old again?
I'm 18.
I love it. All right, congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, so make sure to support her.